This isn't even directly related to what the video is, but it's one of my favourite videos that I've seen. Erik Ten Hag celebrating Garnacho's goal against Leeds as Man United beat them 2-0 at Elland Road. And I want to focus in this video on Erik Ten Hag's in-game management, because I think we saw probably one of the best examples of it so far this season in that 2-0 win against Leeds. And I want to explain exactly how and why Ten Hag's in-game management switched the momentum inside that game and ultimately gave United the platform to go and win that game 2-0. Make sure you do subscribe. If you do enjoy videos like this, I think you'll enjoy this one. Give me 10 minutes of your time. But this is what Erik Ten Hag said after the game in his post-match interview when speaking about the game and how the game played out.
To win your battles, second balls, so the challenges, and in defending but also offense, and then you can grip in the game. And till you have that first goal, and you have to keep doing that. And I think from the moment on we made the first goal, I think there was more composure and the quality on the ball was better.
Yep, absolutely was. And how did that happen? Because look, we can, and I will speak about how impressive Rashford was and Garnacho, both with their goals. But it was the subs that changed the game. I'm going to be speaking about Martinez, going to be speaking about Weghorst, going to be speaking about Sabitzer, going to be speaking about how that game changed. Because all season long, really, subs have been having an impact on this Manchester United team. Like back there, look, this is in December. I'm sure this has completely changed since. You can let me know how many the total is now. But look, 10 goals our subs scored from the bench. Erik Ten Hag and his subs have been changing games all season long. And it's not just that. And that's why this video is a little bit different, because I'm going to be speaking from a tactical perspective rather than just personnel. And now let's rewind to a video that I did back 8 months ago, before this all really got this all kick-started with Ten Hag. And this interview here with Steve McLaren on the McLaren podcast with his son Josh. He speaks here about Ten Hag's ability to change the game with in-game decisions. Very relevant after what we saw at the weekend.
And his strength was on the field, the game. He could read a game and he could adjust and make adjustments. And that's the key, because, as I say, everybody can prepare, everybody can work hard, everybody can have a plan. But on Saturday, kickoff, 3 o'clock, that plan goes out the window sometimes. Opponents are different. They change the way of playing. They change the style. And often I used to be, what do we do now, Erik? What do we do now, Erik? And that was always, Erik, what do we do now? And Erik would, well, drop the number 10 down to the number 6, push the number 2 a little bit forward, get the centre back to step into midfield, and we'll be okay.
Didn't actually realise how pretty much spot on that was for pretty much what we saw at the weekend. But look, as I said, we can focus how good Rashford's goal was, an incredible 13 and 15, and how amazing Garnacho was when he came on there and he got that goal from just an absolute star. But it's more about the overall tactical switches that I want to focus on in this video that I don't particularly think I've done too much this season, too often. Now, what I'm going to use is a combination of screenshots from the game, because copyright, I'll get slapped down if I play that video, and also taking a look at the tactics board. Because here, this is the position where Manchester United scored the first goal from. You can see down there that Sabitzer playing a little bit more aggressive, bringing the ball forward. He finds that pass over to Shaw. Of course, it's Rashford who's making that run in behind there. He's waiting for this cross to come over from Shaw, and it does come. And also, this man here being in the number 10 role with Bruno going a little bit wide. So many subtle changes that really helped United get a grip of this game. Now, I want to go for the first conversation point, and I think that's around Martinez, because when Martinez came on, what Manchester United then did, so if we take off Varane wasn't on, that was Maguire. Yep. And let's take off Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka came on, didn't he? I'm not sure where he was on at this point. Let's get Delo there. This is what the team ended up being for that first goal. Now, with Maguire and Shaw, when they were playing two centre-backs, it was very hard because United, basically, Sabitzer and Fred, they were a little bit too high up the pitch. That meant that whenever Maguire stepped forward, he didn't really have an easy ball, an easy out in midfield, and his passing was all over the shop. in that game. Every time he went long to whoever was playing on the wings, be it Sancho, be it Rashford, be it anybody else, he couldn't find his man. Martinez coming on gave United the ability to play these sorts of vertical passes into these areas here. Martinez is so good at it. So good at bringing the ball straight through, whether that was to Weghorst, and Weghorst, and we're speaking about him in the number 10 role. But Martinez made a massive difference when he came off the bench. And for me, he's part one of that subtle change that Erik Ten Hag brought in. And number 2 was Sabitzer. Because I think, well, I don't think, I know, I saw it. What happened when Martinez came on, you saw, therefore, United's line got a little bit higher. A little bit more confident in the balls that we were going to be playing. Right? And Martinez had that capability of breaking the lines. And what also happened here was you then saw Sabitzer kind of dropping into that role there. And all of a sudden, United had far more of a link up here. Now, if we rewind here, let's take a look at the goal and see where Sabitzer's receiving the ball. This is what happened. The move came through that side. Sabitzer received the ball here, burst forward. I believe he gave it to Weghorst, who gave it to Bruno, who gave it back to Sabitzer. Sabitzer then received the ball in this position here. It went over to Shaw. Shaw got the ball in for Rashford. 1-0 United. But it was that subtle switch of A, bringing Martinez on to give United a bit more ability to play it out from the back with the ball. Number 2, having Sabitzer coming on there. And wasn't coming on, sorry, but coming deeper. Giving United the option. And I kind of should have been happening since the start of the game, but the game was changed during the game here. And that's what we're focusing on here on Ten Hag. But it was mainly around that decision by Erik Ten Hag to see Weghorst dropping and becoming a number 10. That was the biggest and most unusual aspect of that game yesterday. That allowed Rashford to really focus on staying in the middle, staying in position, which is exactly where he was for the goal in itself. But Weghorst, I would say the biggest compliment I can give Weghorst so far is his ability to really link up play. And none more so than that game against Leeds yesterday. Let's be honest, the game at Old Trafford, I thought it was too fast for him. I thought it was kind of passing him by quite a lot. And I think similar to how that game was going at Elland Road. He wasn't really involved enough. Weirdly enough, we seem to be putting more balls in the box when Rashford's there than when Weghorst is there. I don't really know why. But we don't seem to play that way. But when Weghorst dropped into that number 10 position, he linked everybody up so well, dropping a little bit deeper, getting that chest and just passing it wide. And it gave... Erik Ten Hag speaks about it quite a lot. He speaks about the extra pass. And if you can get that extra pass, what it can do for your team. And that's what we did have in that last 20 minutes against Leeds that we simply didn't have for the first 70. The extra composure. I covered the interview from Erik Ten Hag here, where he spoke about that in a bit of detail. But Ten Hag spotted those changes. And as Steve McLaren discussed in this interview 8 months ago now, one of the most impressive parts of Ten Hag's management was his ability to change the game there. And it's exactly what he did. By bringing Martinez on, he gave United more of a confidence in playing out from the back with the ball. You might say Sam Wally should have started Martinez, but presumably he wanted to give the nod to Shaw ahead of Barcelona. That was his tactical decision. Sabitzer coming a little bit deeper. Martinez coming a little bit higher. Closed that gap between defence and midfield. We could play out from the back a little bit more. Instead of how we were doing, we were moving too fast through the lines. Transitions were poor. And then Weghorst was probably the big game changer. As soon as I saw Sancho coming off for Garnacho, I was like, that's a surprise. That's a real surprise. But it was a surprise and a decision that was absolutely vindicated because Weghorst was central. Not only did he get the assist for the second goal for Garnacho, but he was just involved in pretty much everything we were doing going forward. Used in a different way, the same players with small tactical tweaks changed the last 20 minutes of that game. And that's just another asset of Erik Ten Hag as a manager. I wanted to do a little bit of a highlight and a spotlight video here because I think we've seen it on quite a few occasions this season, but probably none more so than the Leeds. And subs have been changing the game for United a lot this season. But in particular, it was Ten Hag and the tactical tweaks there against Leeds that gave us the ability to see out those last 20 minutes far, far more convincingly than we saw the first 70. Now, you can let me know what you think about that in the comments below, about Ten Hag, about everything we're seeing. Man, we're so lucky to have him as our manager. We really, really are. What dude?